I wanted to kind of the last half of this video kind of talk a little bit about the future of the park,
Sure.
And this is all speculation. This is all like just our feelings about what's going to go on, going forward. But like, in your opinion, Dre, what's the future for this park? Like what areas do you feel are next on the list in terms of getting, redone or added or plus? What areas might be on the chopping block? Like, let's just say the next, 10 years.
Right. Next 10 years. Well, I'm going to put Disneyland Forward to the side for right now. We'll just deal with the park as it exists today, right? I think like in the near future, I think the big new attraction is going to be that Avengers e-ticket. Like I'm still holding out hope. I think there's momentum in that direction. I think, we can get over some of the things that kept it back for so long. Disney California Adventure really does need just one more e-ticket. We're seeing that in the Lightning Lane data, in the Genie Plus data. Like it needs more attractions, right? I mean, these wait times in the park are they're really, really heavy. So I think we can expect the Avengers e-ticket pretty relatively soon here. Yeah, I'm not saying it's going to be next year or anything like that, but I mean, I think that's the kind of the next big thing. The next big area that needs work is obviously Disney's the Hollywoodland, right? Hollywoodland absolutely needs a rework and overhaul. The difficulty with that, though, is some of that is predicated on Eastern Gateway project. I was just having this discussion with George and Alia post-show. And it's like a lot of DCA's future in that area is so predicated on the land that they were going to gain from the Eastern Gateway project itself. Because the way Eastern Gateway was devised was you can have the bus and drop-off area on the parking structure side, right? Behind those buildings and so forth on the other side of harbor. And then that opens up all that real estate just outside where the bus depot currently stands today. So I think that they need to nail down, but I think that's kind of be the next kind of big area. And then circling back, I think Pixar Piers, it's not done yet. I think that's going to be interesting. But if I had to throw my hat into the ring and going over these dedication speeches and kind of getting the mind work in, wouldn't, Imagineering's leaving Lake Nona, right? They're leaving for Lake Nona. They're leaving, 1601 Flower Street, right? Or 1901 1601?
1401, I believe.
1401. There you go. You see? This is why OG's on the show. To correct us. 1401 Flower Street, right, is going to be, I don't know in what capacity that's still going to exist, but Lake Nona is going to be the WDI headquarters, right? Wouldn't it be cool if you did a 1401 inspired building, in Hollywoodland as a dedication to the Imagineers? You can have it be a permanent blue sky cellar, of things to come, and really showcase Imagineering as it existed for a significant amount of time.
Well, that would be phenomenal because, DCA has a lot of, like, look, the Carthay Circle. They rebuilt, or, they gave us the Carthay Circle, which is a Los Angeles icon for so many years, and now it doesn't exist. The real Carthay has been demolished. I think it turned into like an apartment complex, which is like depressing as hell.
Ooh, housing.
It turned into apartments. Yeah. Oh my God. But it was kind of cool how Disney recreated that building, and it's it has a lot of nods in there for like Snow White and stuff, which I think is beautiful. But yeah. what cooler thing they could add to this park along with the Carthay than the Imagineering building, which is very mid-century. It's a huge part of Disney history, huge part of California history. I think that'd be a phenomenal idea. Phenomenal.
Yeah, ignited by the imagination of daring dreamers, right? I mean, it's like, it's consistent with the message of California Adventure as it exists today. Significant part of California history, especially as it relates to Disneyland across the way, right? What came out of Imagineering at that time influenced all of Anaheim and Southern California, right? And I mean, the building has very distinct architecture. even if you were to use it as just a facade and really showcase Imagineering, not just from its history, but to its future with that kind of preview center / history kind of museum, I think that would be really cool for the Hollywoodland area.
Oh yeah.
In the future. Now that I'm just kind of thinking about it, it's like, wow, I think that'd be kind of perfect. And kind of tip your hat to the Imagineers, past, present, and future.
No, that's a great, like you said, a great homage to the Imagineers, and it's a great homage really to California history. It's a great homage to Disneyland. It's the sister park. I mean, it hits so many notes so perfectly. Hey, WDI, if you're watching, make it happen.
Make it happen. You can have this idea for free. Do not claim any copyright to it. You go ahead and you use that. Okay, I am signing off right here. You just use it, and then you'd be like, "Hey, we're doing this," and it's like, that sounds familiar, but that's good. That's good. That's awesome. So you can have that one for free. But OG, in your opinion,
sure.
Same question that you posed to me. What do you think is next? What do you think? What areas? What would you like to see? That kind of thing for California Adventures future.
I'm kind of in the same line with you in a lot of ways. Like I think the Avengers e-ticket is going to happen because there's too much money on that table. They're not going to look. The MCU is like a mint for them, and they've already done the research and development on that Avengers attraction. I mean, it's from what I understand, pretty much completed on paper. They just need to build it, put shovel to dirt, and do it.
Yeah,
I think it's inevitable. Stay on the Marvel theme. The inevitable,
inevitable, right? Right there. Chapek's going to follow that data.
Yeah, Chapek is going to follow that data. There's not another look. There's no other franchise. And look, and this is the reality. I know a lot of fans are going to hem and haw over this, but the reality of the situation is that Disney is all about the franchises, right?
Yeah.
They're going to put something in California Adventure that's going to be a franchise. Well, what bigger franchise, what bigger moneymaker do they have than Marvel? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Star Wars is number 2, I believe, but Marvel is top dog right now. So they're not going to sleep on that. We're going to get some big Marvel e-ticket, and I think that's going to show, it's going to come to fruition as that that Avengers ride. We will get that. That's probably the first thing. I wouldn't be surprised if they even announced that at D23, I wouldn't be surprised. And then
you heard it here first, folks. Announcement D23 incoming.
I think it might be announced at that D23 Expo, and then I think also, like you said, Hollywoodland is the elephant in the room. I mean, it's a fixer upper. I think they're going to definitely look. There's so much real estate there that's wasted. It's everything is like either shut down or there's like temporary stuff going on in there. They're using it for corporate events and things like that. They're gonna look. They're gonna want to address that area. There's a lot of room there to work with. I think that's definitely within the next 10 years as well. Pixar Pier, I agree with you. I don't think that land is done either. But I think that probably comes because they just did that in 2018. Yeah. That's probably further down the road, unfortunately. One thing I would love to see them do with Pixar Pier, though, and this is kind of like the nerd in me, and I think most average people don't care at all about this.
But we do, and that's why we're watching the show.
Yeah. I would love to see some kind of berm, some kind of way that they can address the power lines, the convention center that you can see.
The Hilton, yeah.
The Hilton, yeah, exactly. I wish they would do that. I wish they would build something up there to really kind of block that view, a real creative way to address that issue.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a priority. Unfortunately, it's not a priority. But I hope eventually they tackle that,
It's going to be interesting. I do kind of see the same kind of time period, right? Where it's like, like if we're drawing it out 10 years, it's going to be in the latter half of that 10 years, not the forward half, right? A lot more priorities other than Pixar Pier at this very moment in time. But at that point, it's going to be interesting because California Screaming, or now, what is it, Incredicoaster?
Yeah.
Oof. it might be reaching some service life issues, right? Because coasters don't last forever, right? Is there a world in which California Screamin' is, or Incredicoaster, I should say, sorry, maybe overhauled at that point, at that moment, at the time that needs to be overhauled anyway because of the end of its service life as a coaster? Could you then incorporate a berm into its kind of new design, or get rid of it entirely and do something else in that space? I think I wouldn't be surprised to see them go in that direction because, I think like the lack of berm in that area really holds it back, and it does need something substantive to kind of ground that area in a way that it's not right now. Like you go to California, Cars Land, and you just go, whoa, this is really incredible. I think it needs that wow kind of moment, and I think you can do that with the back half of that land.
You can keep the body of water, because I know that's a big thing with World of Color, and that drives the dining packages. And J-Fag loves that dining package money.
Oh, he loves that money.
So you can't get rid of that, and I don't want them to. I love World of Color, and I love the lagoon, whatever, but yeah, you have to address that back portion and the sightline issues. Look, I'm not like a huge coaster aficionado. I would be fine with them getting rid of that and creating a more fleshed out area around the lagoon. But I know a lot of fans, though, really, really love that coaster. It's a great coaster. So I don't know. Maybe enclose it in some rock work and give it a different theme. I don't know. But I wish they would address that. That's the one last area of DCA with sightline issues, major sightline issues. They've kind of addressed the other ones through like Cars Land, and even just the natural progression of more buildings being built in the park. You just naturally start to block things out. But Pixar Pier is still the one area of the park that is still pretty glaring,
Right. And I think by that time we would have a better sense, the company would have a better sense of Disneyland Forward and the future when it comes to that. So any investment in that area would probably incorporate designs for Disneyland Forward for that kind of expansion plot. If Disneyland Forward's approved in like the Symbol lot and what happens to the Paradise Pier Hotel and stuff like that, all those things can be addressed potentially all at once. If given the budget, resources, and time. I think that area, while it has been a source of contention for a long time in Disney California Adventures history, that one might actually have the most potential going forward. So it's going to be fascinating to see.
That's true. That's very, very true. And then one thing before we close it out, one of the interesting aspects, and I know we can't get married to the concepts of Disneyland Forward because, again, it's very much a vagueness to kind of sell the idea to the city. But still, interesting nonetheless was that they actually, the concept for the Tron coaster coming here, which I would have thought would be a given for Tomorrowland. If they're gonna put it anywhere and rework it and figure it out, I would have thought they would have sold that for Disneyland.
Sure.
But it was in the DCA portion of that sales pitch, which was odd to me. Now, look, they could tie it in. I mean, Silicon Valley, is a huge part of California. You can totally tie that into this California, based on what we talked about earlier with the mission statement, the plaque, the dreamers, you have Steve Jobs, Silicon Valley, all that. You could easily tie that around Tron. Oh, yeah. I just found that very interesting that they decided to put that into the DCA part. It was weird to me.
Yeah, that is a really kind of interesting thing. But hey, look, what happens in Incredicoaster? Hey, if we had to trade a coaster for I think a lot of people would make that trade, right? So, yeah. And from what I understand, Tron is huge, it's a massive, massive thing. Well, sightlines might be an issue when it comes to that building and so forth. But if it's all the way over on the Symbol portion, all kind of creeping the corner back there, maybe it doesn't, disturb the surrounding area in a way that maybe it does in Magic Kingdom or it would in Disneyland. So I think you can make it work, and I think it might potentially even work better there. So we'll just have to see, though. It's a very interesting thing.